Test four.
Test four. Test four.
We're live.
Test four. Oh my God, they're playing it.
You were hot. Your mic was hot.
It was hot. Okay, I think we're just All right, this is not the normal theme. It's the Canadian theme. Because my wife is here and she's Canadian. Theme over. No, it's not a theme. It's an anthem, isn't it? It's an anthem. It's the theme for the U.S. Yeah. So this is the fourth? Yeah, this is the fourth time I've done this.
Congratulations.
This is the fourth QuaranTalk. This is, well, I guess how much are you gonna dox yourself? Do you want your first and last name revealed, or just your first name, or completely fake name? They don't know anything about you yet.
My real name is Julia.
Wink.
Real.
Wink. My wife's here, and I invited her because I guess this is as close as we get to a date anymore. This is all we can do now.
What a thrilling life we lead.
To answer the questions of strangers, like really strangers, like, my students who... There's probably people who ask questions in this thing that I've never met.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they strangers to you too?
Yeah, no, mainly. Mainly.
You got to go to class, guys.
Yeah. So I think we just get right into go straight to mailbag. So hang on. I always screw this up. Okay. I'm not even going to try to do the song this time because I've done so little right so far. I bet everyone just went deaf whenever I played the epic version of Canadian National Anthem, which is on YouTube and should be open domain, right? Like, there's no way that, like, am I going to get flagged for that?
I don't know the legal
God.
restrictions on the Canadian National Anthem. I just know it's fabulous.
The words are "Oh Canada" and other lyrics by Canadian. All right. So... first one, and so these are, just so you know the format, these are just submitted from, I don't know who, just students, I presume.
So it might not be from students?
Well, I mean, anyone who, it's a website. Whoever finds that website and takes the time to click on the link to put a thing in. So, there's a whole bunch of questions that I've answered in past QuaranTalks. I've, drawn lines in the Excel sheet that have already occurred.
You're so organized.
Well, Google organizes a lot for me. So, yeah. All right. So, first one, I feel like almost perfectly is a big old softball. Key. God, I whiffed on the softball.
No.
Tea or coffee, and why? So, I think you know my answer.
Well, are these questions for both of us or just
yeah,
you?
no,
they didn't ask.
I'm not gonna make you sit here and watch me. Like, you get to talk too. So, actually, I guess I do have two answers to this.
Go ahead. We're dying to know.
So, hot coffee, cold tea. I like unsweetened iced tea. I'll drink a cold brew. I'll drink, an iced coffee. But if I had the choice between iced coffee and iced tea, I'm going to save probably $4 and get an iced tea and be equally happy.
You're revealing so much about yourself right now.
I don't know. I think there are two answers to this question. So,
okay.
Oh, and why? Oh, I don't know about why. Taste? I don't know. Just because it's the civilized thing to do.
All right, my turn?
We don't take turns.
So...
You can... This is our marriage. You can butt in anytime you want.
Well, I definitely like coffee, but our coffee at home that John makes is usually too strong for me, so I always cut it with hot chocolate. To tone it down a little.
So you go with
add a little sweetness.
A cafefe option, like a third option. Cacao.
And I want to like tea, and I make myself cups of tea. But they always fall a little short for me.
Hot tea. I've the number of times I have had hot coffee and the number of times I've had hot tea like hot coffee is probably probably, and this sounds like hyperbole. This, like, it's probably 1,000 times more hot coffee than hot tea.
I will say I lived in France for a year, and I hung out with some British people when I was living in France, and you would walk into their house, their apartment, and they'd be like, cup of tea? Would you like a cup of tea? And I'd be like, yeah.
Did they have it on them? Like, they bring it to you?
No, they'd make it, but they'd always make it with lots of milk and sugar. So it wasn't like tea that you're used to that's just like a tea bag.
But yeah, I mean, like, so that's the other thing. Like, there's no way in the world I would ever make a lot of dishes that I really enjoy the way they have to be made. Like, I bet I'd really like the lots of milk, lots of sugar tea. I'd probably like lots of milk, lots of sugar coffee. But like, I can't pull the trigger. Someone else in another room has to do it before they even hand it to me.
I'm not doing that for you.
Yeah. I don't. So, all right. Let's see here. Okay. So this requires a little background knowledge on the subject of email etiquette, which, so I'm gonna actually pause at the comma like you're supposed to do whenever you're reciting any sort of written form. I know. We're not here to judge any typos or anything. All right. So on the subject of email etiquette, last time someone asked the question of, well, they told me a story and then they asked a question. The story was they had a professor that actually went to the sort of bizarre extremes of saying, like, don't send me a thank you reply as an email. It just clutters at my inbox. So like, no thanks or got it or any, like, none of that was allowed.
Do you agree with that?
I did not agree with that.
I like a good thank you.
Yeah.
Acknowledgement. Yeah.
It feels like a, I know it's not, apparently it's fake radio talk, but I like the old over and out, like, oh, got it. All right, I'll take it from here kind of thing. And like, whose inbox is so, so busy and full that like a thanks is gonna like overload them. like you see the preview, you see one word thanks, and you're like, Jesus, like, how dare you?
Well, also, if you have 500 emails and 200 of them are thanks, you're like, done.
Yeah, bam, bam, bam. So okay, so on that subject, what are your thoughts on addressing? Do you prefer Dear Dr. Gibbons? Is it just Hey John okay? Or do you think it's entirely unnecessary? So I'm curious. I want you to answer this first.
So for your students writing to you,
yeah,
I think Hey John is too familiar. When I write an email to John, I would not personally say Dear Dr. Gibbons.
She says Dear Professor Gibbons. my truest husband.
But I think your students should treat you with the respect you deserve.
Which is?
Well, I don't think you need a dear.
Dear is unnecessary.
Unnecessary dear. But you can say Dr. Gibbons or Professor Gibbons. I think that's totally appropriate.
John is
Professor
just weird.
John would be weird.
There are like there's probably like maybe 20 people on this planet that call me John. Like, and it just feels like, like being called John, I'm not ready for in most occasions. Even now, like,
I call you John.
Well, but like, even now that we have kids, like, we start to refer to each other in front of the children as mom and dad, And so, like, there's like the number of people that call me by my actual name. Like, my mom doesn't.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of his friends call him Gibbons.
Yeah, my friends call me Gibbons.
But I don't think you guys should call him that in your emails.
I would agree with that.
And I don't think you need, I think no greeting whatsoever is also a little rude. I think you need something there. It's too abrupt. He can do that to you, you can't do that to him.
I feel like on the reply, anyone's allowed to
That's
omit
fair. But not the first email.
Yeah, if we're 7 exchanges deep,
Yeah,
and
I
like,
agree with that.
and I'm helping you with a problem, on the 7th exchange that you're sending back to me, you don't have to say like, "Dearest Dr. Professor Gibbons, thank you," like that.
Thank you for your kind response.
To be honest, I'm totally fine with just a hi professor.
Yeah,
Hi professor.
That's good.
You don't need to bring the doctor into it at all. I like, because I didn't get into this for being a doctor. I got into it for teaching. Mm-hmm. So like, hi professor, I have a question, and just go into it.
Mm-hmm.
If
you know,
if
on
you
the
start
subject of your mom, she does call you doctor. She addresses letters to us as Dr. and Mrs. John Gibbons.
My mom. Okay, well,
and I didn't even take his name, so
yeah, you don't even have my last. Like, that's a whole other podcast right there. But like, some students are so brazen as to like give me a nickname, like, "Hey Gibbo." First of all, hey, I don't like hey. I don't like
what
hey.
about hey Professor Gibbons?
Hey Professor Gibbons. Well, I feel like the only way I would be cool with that is if I hadn't actually interacted with the student in a while. Like, hey, like, you run into them in the street and they're like, "Oh,
right,
hey."
I was gonna say like passing in the hall. Hey.
Yeah, okay. Passing in the hall. Hey.
But not
like, oh, hey, Professor. Like, basically, hey is like I forgot about you, but now you're here again. You know. But but in an email, when I read read like the words like hey, and then any sort of title or whatever, like hey, and then something that addresses me, it sounds like a more of like a snap, like hey, like a hey professor, I need an answer to this right now. It's 11:58 and this thing's due in a minute.
You would never get an email at 11:58.
Never. I've never gotten an email a minute before a due date, ever. Okay, I'm done with that. Okay, so I think I have to field this one. I'm gonna field it quick because you're here. But actually, no, you can get in this one. Was there an assignment, project, and then replace my major with your major that was particularly horrible? I'm trying to think of like the worst project. I think the worst project I had was probably my capstone, which was my at Rolla, the very first time that we had to work as a team, like on a programming project, was in the capstone, and we had what's called dead weight on that team. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you can take your earbud out. That was not fun. I didn't like the team project because
that's probably not a good time to do your first team project.
And we were like, kind of like, it was like quote unquote like self-organized, but it was also like, I didn't get the group, like you didn't let me group with any of my friends, but I don't know. That was probably the worst project I had, was my capstone, which is, I don't know, not a good look. That was not a fun way to end my college career.
And I can talk about some of mine. I feel like one of my worst ones was my freshman year when it was my second semester, and I had done really well in my first semester, but second semester I got sick the first month or so, like I got the flu. And so I was like having trouble handing things off on time, and there was this one paper that was due, and this was for political science. That's what I majored in. And because I was sick, I kind of half-assed it, and then I still handed it in, but I wrote a note to the professor, like, I'm sorry I was sick, this is all I could put together. And then I, like, spent a whole other week working on the actual one, and he, like, messaged back and was like, I kind of liked your first one better. Oh. And I was like, well, damn. Maybe I overthought it.
All right, so let's see here. I'll tackle this one too. I just came across a thing which is Linux terminal for Windows 10 on the internet. Do you think it's worth trying to install it on your computer? What do you think, Professor? And then a link. The long and short of this is that I haven't installed it on my Windows machines. I'm so much of a John Henry that it's like, if I want a Linux machine, I'm just going to go to a real honest to God Linux machine and like remote into the cycle servers or just pop a VM open. if this takes off, or some probably undergrad staff members like, hey, why don't you do this? This has been just the way people work for 5 years, you old curmudgeon. I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. Kind of like the way I like adopted Slack. Like, oh, you kids use Slack now? I guess I'll use Slack. Fine. Fine. All right. What's your favorite YouTube video to kill time? Oh, to watch to kill time. Man, that's the name of the game now. We're in a wait the clock out sort of scenario for the next like month or two.
But somehow we have less free time.
That's true. But I guess whenever you just need like comfort video for YouTube, I'm even gonna pull the reins off. Like
any video.
Yeah, just video. Like I guess like if you can't, I don't know if this should spill over into like movies and stuff.
Well, yeah, because I don't really watch YouTube.
Okay.
So I'm a comfort watching is Parks and Rec, The West Wing, and that's it for now.
I guess specifically on YouTube. So as of the last 2 weeks, I have been watching old poker videos from like the World Series of Poker 2000.
Moneymaker?
Chris Moneymaker. I didn't realize how many times that guy sucked out on people. Oh my God. Like, you know, good for him. He's the reason that poker became what it is today. And I probably wouldn't even know what Texas Hold'em is, which is like my favorite game of all time now, if he hadn't won the World Series of Poker in 2002 or 3 or whatever. But oh my God, that guy got lucky.
Also, is that his real name?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds made up because a poker guy. Yeah. I've been watching Resident Evil 3 playthroughs, like 2 minutes at a time. That's basically been what I've been doing. Yeah.
But you're a fan of like Ultra David, who has spoken in some of your classes.
Yeah.
Before.
No. They didn't have a Tuesday show this week, but David Graham, also known as Ultra David, and who lives out in California, with James Chin, they usually do a weekly show called the Tuesday Show. And I just reached out to him one random semester like 4 years ago, and I was like, hey, would you, like, I know you're an attorney, would you want to teach in my class? And he said yes. And he was super cool about it. And
which class was this? Software
engineering. And he's basically done a guest lecture every time I teach that class. So, but yeah, no, that's definitely, like, actually early on in the quarantine, I even sent him an email saying like, hey, I'm glad that you and James are still doing this. Because just anything that makes us feel like a normal day. Well, I was like, I even told him like I was listening to the Tuesday show while I was pulling first shift with the kids, listening to the Tuesday show while getting everyone breakfast. And it's like, okay, this is just a day, just a normal day. Would you organize a 168 Overwatch team? Probably not. I wouldn't organize it. Not to poo-poo it. I love Overwatch. But I am the advisor of the KU Video Game Club, I think.
Attended many meetings, John?
No, I have not. But I am a name on a form and a signature somewhere. But they actually, like, this is years ago. They started this and this took off, and they had, like, a League of Legends team that was, like, compete against other universities and stuff. Like, they're in a league. Like, I can't remember what the name of it is. Not MLG. Oh, boy. See, this is why I need, like, I'm not gonna install Linux on my Windows. I don't even know what this is, and I'm supposed to be the advisor for it.
So basically, they were student athletes. I bet you made them pass, even though they didn't even deserve.
Yeah, I said like, just go to all your other classes, and you're gonna get a tutor. You focus on the League of Legends. You don't even have to. Someone else will do your homework, kids. No, they're probably doing their homework while they're dead and waiting to respawn. Sick burn. All right. Oh my God. Okay, how does this look in the actual one? I gotta make it bigger, I guess.
font smaller?
Make the font smaller. Okay, good idea. See, I married the right woman. Okay. Thank you for Thank you for hosting QuaranTalk. I have concerns about the current economic climate as millions of people are being let go. My question to you is, how do you think this will pan out in the future? And we're laughing because, like,
is John the right person to answer this question?
I don't know about I don't know about the Linux on the Windows, and I don't know what things I'm advising. So, hang on. Let's see if we can solve the world. Okay, so someone who went through the 2008, basically that crisis, tell us about their experience. So, from my point of view, in 2008, I was a GTA at KU. So I was in a very fortunate situation of being super poor and not knowing what a crisis was, because I was gainfully employed for semester after semester, and I was making my 13,000. Was it 13? Oh my God, was it 13,000 a year or 13,000 a semester? It may have been a year. That may have been an annual pay, but it was enough for me to pay for my apartment on 11th and Ohio, and I was like, I got out of Rolla. So, to be honest, in 2008, I was loving life. I wasn't affected by the financial crisis in any real way, which is very, very lucky. And in retrospect, like now that now that basically the world is on the forefront of this, like the other crises that have hit, it's like, oh wow, I wonder why that impacted me so much less, like they felt not less real, but like less like they actually made it to my front door. So I guess, I don't know.
I could feel this question because I actually graduated from grad school in the fall, in 2009. So it was in the midst of the crisis, and I had a lot of trouble finding a job. And I, went and lived with my parents, and I was job hunting, and I did some temp work, which kept me going, and then finally found a good stable job. But I'll say it also depends on what industry you're in, and I think people in CS aren't going to have a ton of trouble.
Yeah, no, that's
There's
true.
going to be a lot of computer science jobs, so I wouldn't worry too much. But also just keep looking, and things will, work out is the other piece of advice. And then the other piece of advice is, like, there's just, it's kind of luck of the draw. Life is about working hard, but also about getting lucky. And I'm actually job hunting again now during the next crisis. So my timing has not been great.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I'm pretty lucky to be hitched to this one. But you guys will be okay.
I make almost 4 times what I made as a GTA. Oh wait, that's not right. That's like 5 to 6. Not triple digits. Not triple digits. Ain't making those 6 figures. Because we had this conversation about, like, do you regret the path you chose? And I was like, if I make about half as much as what I would make.
Yeah, potentially.
But it's enough to.
But it's a good schedule, and just to say, like, we're home with our 2 kids. Who, if you don't have kids, you don't really know what it's like with, especially toddlers. We have an 18-month-old and a 3.5-year-old, and it's a lot. And so if John was working an 8 or 9 hour a day job,
where I had to,
we'd be drowning right now.
Yeah, basically, like, the fact that, like, this is happening while the children are asleep. Mm-hmm. And the reason that this is happening instead of what I would, like, be doing, like, basically for the rest of the week, because we're doing this on a Monday, and exams aren't due for another 4 or 5 hours. So basically my job can happen at almost any time in the day, which is pretty rad. That's pretty rad.
Yeah.
And
so there is something to work-life balance. And if that's important to you, then I think it's a career path.
And comp size for sure have an advantage there. another me one. Have you ever played League of Legends? Yes. I played Blitzcrank and I loved it. I stopped playing it because it was like a super unfriendly place to be.
That's one of the games you used to play with your friends a lot.
Yeah, that was like probably the last big game that I played with my gaming buddies, but it was fun when I played with them. It was not fun when I played with strangers, and whenever the internet got mad at me for playing as a big dumb robot with a hook arm, like, I was always supposed to be playing. I'm like, I just want to play my big dumb robot. And then I tried to access my account after like years of it not being there, and everything was erased. It sucked. So last time I was asked, do I know how to grill? And I went into my chimney routine.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And Hank Hill, do you know Hank Hill?
Is that from King of the Hill?
King of the Hill. Would be disappointed in your response. Why not switch to clean burning propane? I'm actually terrified of propane tanks. I know there's probably thousands of them in use, maybe in our neighborhood. I am terrified of a propane tank.
But like we can do a propane tank in our grill.
No, we need a grill with like a hose grill and all that. But like, just the idea of like, oh, let's just leave this like metal canister of explosive fuel just like out in whatever weather, year round. Who cares? Anything could fall on it, you know. Oh.
I feel like that's an irrational fear because everybody has one. But I think our bigger issue is we haven't grilled very much because our kids are little and they like run at everything.
That's
and
true.
They probably would have burned themselves on a grill. So we're not into grilling these days.
No. Especially near a dangerous propane tank.
Very dangerous.
All right. Would you be willing to go halvesies on an egirl.gg account with me? The quarantine has caused me to cut costs in my life, and this unfortunately wasn't deemed essential. Please.
What's e-girl?
So last time, actually, it came up during the do you know how to grill? I thought I was being baited. I thought like grill is like a new word that the kids are using for something weird. And so before I just jumped in and said like, yeah, I know how to grill, of course. I thought it was like, I thought it was something gross. So I went to Urban Dictionary, but grill is like slang for girl. Like it's like a misspelling essentially, or I don't know, so I feel like if I ever enter egirl.gg into a browser, the FBI will descend on us. So
nice try, buddy.
Will I go halvesies? No. They got this quarantine on, and I got to do for me and mine. So I can't go halvesies on much of anything right now. Can you record yourself playing Overwatch? My computer couldn't do that. It sounds fun, but yeah, I
Do you have any old videos of you playing video games?
I guess I gotta dig up some like handheld cam footage of. I have like Smash Brothers videos and probably like Mega Man 9 and some other like old videos that aren't played with other people. I guess Smash is, but
what about that one where you won that world record?
that was Mega Man 9.
That was a cam handheld.
Well, it was on a tripod. My hands were devoted to the controllers. Why are all your videos unlisted? So this is actually, I guess, for a couple of reasons. One, so I can watch the video. Like people subscribe to this thing, and I don't want them to just like see the videos that I post when I actually upload them, because the time it takes to upload it. So basically, long story short, I uploaded Wednesday's lecture, or today's Monday, right? Yeah, I uploaded Wednesday's lecture today. And so I don't want people getting these videos in this like weird random order. So I'd rather everyone just like go to the class website and see them when I actually link to them. And also so I get a chance to actually look at them and be like, hey, did my mic, was it on? Like, like watch, like, oh crap, I have to take this down, upload a fixed version. So I keep them unlisted just in case I goof up.
But if that question is getting at something that's making this hard for you, let them know.
No, I'm fine.
Not talking to you.
Oh, like to the student?
Yeah, if he was like getting at something like, oh, it's so hard that it's
unlisted.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Someday you might just have to hike up.
There might not be a solution.
Yeah, hike your pants up and click a URL on a wiki someday. Oh. All right. Should curly braces be on their own line functions, if else blocks, etc.? This is a C++ thing, so this is what they're referring to. So should it be like this, and then whatever's in here, and then this? Or should it be like this? And the answer is, and this is the actual answer, whatever the company who pays your salary says to do. I do it like this for my own personal reasons, but I don't pay you. If you go to Garmin and they say do it like this or you're fired, do it like that. Don't get militant about these things. There's a lot.
Be flexible, you're saying.
Be flexible. Oh my God. All right.
Have you not looked at these questions already?
Well, I saw this one, which is why I got you into this. And I was like, oh, and I started looking around like, oh, that's a friendly, So, okay.
This is interesting because you asked our 3.5-year-old daughter this same question like last week.
So this is an internet question. This is what put Judge John Hodgman on the map. So I'll let you go first.
Well, no, I was gonna tell him what Luna said.
Oh, I guess Luna can go first. Our daughter.
She said no.
Yeah.
What did John Hodgman say?
He said no.
What do you say?
No.
I say yes.
You say yes. Why?
It's meat between two breads.
That's true. So.
And then the taxonomy.
Okay, so
it's like I wouldn't call a hamburger a sandwich, but it's a sandwich.
But so you think like sandwich is such a broad term that it could encompass.
Yeah, hot dog. Like on menus they say like between two buns.
But it's not between two buns.
Between one.
It's
bun?
one bun. Even like those weird buns that we got from Trader Joe's, or was it Trader Joe's? I don't know. Those weird buns. It's like, where's the
Aldi? Yeah.
Where's the slit?
Oh, and it was at the top.
But it was at the top. Like, what the is this? Why is the slit? But it was still a bun.
Two bun pieces.
Yeah.
In my
But
mind.
I would just okay. So as a comp sci, so my answer as a computer scientist is, it. As a human being, like as me, a human being, I say no, like outright. As a computer scientist, I say like, I guess it could be depending on what you're doing. Like, so if I'm programming a game and I need to like, and 268 students, this will make more sense to you. 168, wait for 268 for this to make sense. But if it's like, I have to categorize like a bunch of food and I just have to make like a sandwiches class, then yeah, okay, it's like anything picked up by a human hand and eaten is going to be a sandwich. Like I don't care what it is. I don't care if
cookie?
Like an ice cream sandwich, a stick of butter between two waffles, like a steak between two slabs of drywall. You wouldn't
call the category sandwiches / hot dogs.
No. Yeah, from a programmer's point of view, all we really are curious, like all we want to know is basically if there's this thing called a sandwich, can a hot dog do everything that is required of a sandwich? Right? So like in computer science, there's this like, classic sort of paradox where would you say that a square is a rectangle? And like usually everyone's like, yeah, it's just a special kind, it's just a rectangle where, whatever. But then whenever, as a computer scientist, whenever we have to code up what is a square, you should be able to edit its height and width, right? Or a rectangle, you should be able to edit its height or really length and width. But if I edit a rectangle's length, if it's a square, that means that I also need to update its width. but that's not the way a rectangle works. I don't edit the other one whenever I edit one of them, right? So as a computer scientist, I need to know from the customer, like, how do you need this to behave?
So if you need it to be the kind of thing where you do need like one bread on the bottom, one bread on top, then hot dogs couldn't be in
which
there.
oddly enough is like the Judge John Hodgman answer is like, you must be able to cut a sandwich in half. And no one in their right mind in a million years would ever cut a hot dog in half.
Please, we have toddlers. Yes, you would. You just wouldn't cut it.
But yeah, they want it cut like
They can't eat a whole hot
lengthwise.
dog.
They want. There's like no grippable part. It's just like the lengthwise slit of a hot dog.
Whatever. I gave Luna a hot
It's like
dog the
laying
other
on a
day.
deathbed.
I gave Luna a hot dog the other day, and she took one bite. She was like, "I don't like this," and she took the hot dog out and just ate the bun with the ketchup on it. So.
And if she's the paying customer, then okay, now a hot dog is actually a chicken nugget. But as for me personally, I feel like if I went to a restaurant and they had a section labeled sandwiches, and in there I found hot dog, I'd be like, wait,
You'd
what?
be like, can I speak to your manager?
Yeah, I feel like I was in a different country, and they're like, oh, this is the like food from the U.S. section. They're like, whatever, like hot dogs are here, hamburgers are
Fair
here.
enough. I could be convinced.
Yeah, so I think it's a fun debate to have, but again, just like with the if statements,
It's not that fun.
no, it wasn't that fun. Don't get militant. We're gonna close with this one.
Okay.
Okay. Not this one right here, but there's one that we saw. Okay. 3 things to bring you to a desert island? Deserted island? Deserted? Desert?
Desert island.
Desert island? Okay.
Yes.
Is my goal to get off, or is my goal to get away from this quarantine? Because right now I'm like,
You'd be like, woohoo!
yeah, I'd bring my computer, a generator, and like a
Well, how do you like refill the generator?
I don't know, coconut juice? What? I don't know.
Or like I was thinking,
coconut
what's
generator.
something that turns salt water into drinkable water?
Okay. My computer, a generator, professor from Gilligan's Island. He'll figure it out.
I'd probably do a book, some kind of thing that turns salt water into fresh water. I'm sure that exists, right?
Yeah, I guess you don't want to just like go there and die in 2 days.
Yeah.
But if
And
my
then
goal,
a grill.
yeah, if my goal is to get off, I'd probably bring like the jet fighter from True Lies that Arnold, just like one of those jets that takes off vertically, not a helicopter. But I need a jet because I got to go far probably if I'm on an island that is completely unaccessed by the Disney Corporation. So I'm gonna have to fly a while. So I need one of those vertical takeoff jets, and then an instructional video of how to fly that jet. And then I don't know, snacks probably for the ride. Once I get going, it's like I might just be in the cockpit, kind of hungry.
Yeah.
Maybe probably even water. Yeah, a little juice box or something.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
A little peanut butter. All right, close it out. Last one. How did you and the masseuse? The Mrs. meet? You should tell him.
No, you tell him.
I tell. Okay. We met on the internet. Like what was the previous question that was about the internet? Just the same place that you go to find out how to install Linux on Windows 10. You can meet your future wife there too.
Yeah, but where we met was a site people used
For meeting people.
in 2009.
Yes, it was on OkCupid.
It was before really a lot of people had smartphones.
Yes, I did not have a smartphone. I didn't have a smartphone until we lived together.
Yeah.
So you actually got me my first smartphone because I was using a Nokia for quite some time.
But it seems like the world without a smartphone seems like crazy right now.
Yeah, I guess this world with a smartphone also seems crazy.
Well, the world, yes.
Oh, yeah. But the idea of, like, everyone turning their smartphones right now, that'd be bonkers. We met online through OkCupid, which is...
I think that's still probably around.
OkCupid?
Yeah. OkCupid. But there was no swiping.
That's true. You had to... I guess you got... It was... So when you went there and you filled out your profile, you had to take... I don't remember how many questions it was. Like, I remember taking, like, a lengthy survey.
Yeah, and you could take more to, like, have more info. But I think the most important part is there was, like, your pictures and your profile, which is probably not that dissimilar to what's out there now.
But it filtered by, like, percentage match, right?
That's true.
Do you remember what percentage match we were?
We were in the 70s. It wasn't that good.
Like a C. Like, barely passing.
Yeah, but it just goes to show it's not just about the numbers.
We're going to take this marriage credit, no credit.
Well, in this quarantine, you kind of got to.
Yeah. It was a credit, no credit marriage.
But it was, so we met on OkCupid, and actually, John was the very first person I met in person.
That was your first E-date?
First E-date, yes.
Well, I guess it was a real life date.
Yes, and we met at Chipotle, and we had such a good date that we kept talking after we ate our burritos.
We got coffee after.
And we went and got coffee after.
At what, the now completely...
Defunct
Borders.
Yes. So that's always a good sign.
Do you ever think that we sucked all of the hope and love out of Borders and turned it into our marriage? And that's why that business completely collapsed?
No. Okay.
I like to think that. Sorry, Borders.
No, I think that was Amazon.
Oh, yeah. more of a vampiric, like, stealing the actual life force of another.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. A lot of books on Amazon.
Yeah. Sorry, but that I'm not gonna feel. That's not like a mom and pop store. Borders, get your S together, otherwise you're gonna get swallowed up by the next big fish. Yeah, that's how we met, and then yada yada yada. Now it's 2020. We're in a quarantine. What was that? That was 20.
That was 2009.
2009. It's 2009. And in what? Like September, October?
I will say we were a little wishy-washy for a while. So I say we weren't official until 2010. So we've been together for 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, it's still a good a baker's decade. Mm-hmm. Because decade's the same for everybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. And we got married in 2014.
And then had our first kid in 2016.
Yep. And our second one in 2018.
And our first quarantine in 2020.
Aww.
Yeah, this is our first.
Oh, you think we're gonna have any more?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
is this one just gonna last 2 years?
If I'm gonna go through another quarantine, I guess I'd want to go through it with you. All right. Do you wanna put your earbud in and hear the theme song that a stranger made for me?
Yes, please. I'm
gonna mute the microphone because I never remember to mute the microphone while we play the song. Hang on. I think I gotta go back to title. So, okay. All right.
Can I say bye to them?
Yeah, you can say bye.
Bye, guys. It's nice talking to you.
No one look my wife in the eye.
Bye, guys. Nice talking to you. I just want to say you guys are really lucky to have a professor like John.
Aww.
He's such a good guy and such a good dad, such a good husband.
Keep filling while I find the song.
I've run out of things.
Just sing "O Canada."
And even this QuaranTalk, how cool is that he's doing that for you guys? Just a little slice of.
Well, I've told them that this is for me.
Oh, it's for you?
Yeah, it's for me.
It's not for them.
This is our evening together now. Like this is clearly for me. I had 2 likes.
Oh my god!
But I got my first dislike.
You did?
Yeah. It stung harder than it should have. All right.
Well, the negative stuff is worth like 6 positive ones, so you guys need to like a little harder.
It's a slap in the face. I'm gonna mute us pretty soon. All right,
okay,
ready for
I'm
this?
done talking now.
Me too. All right. I'll see you all, I don't know, later. Don't forget to turn your exam. Oh, no, you're not going to see this until tomorrow. Hope you turn in your exam.